Hello and welcome back to our continued adventures on the Let's Defend platform. Today we are tackling underneath the incident responder path and practice section. A high alert from March 6th, 2025, 7:15 a.m. That being SOC337, Lazarus Phishing Campaign Detected, APT38. EventID is 35, type is APT group. And we are looking at an email having come from Trevor Greer, 9312@gmail.com, to Ellen at letsdefend.io. Invitation, Coinbase crypto trading hiring assessment as the subject. And it looks like it was allowed. SMTP address is 152.89.61.96. So if we take a look at the email that was delivered, one, why is it a Gmail address? Why is it not Coinbase? Would be the first thing to sit there and take a look at. 30 questions, and it directs us to a blockchainjobhunt.com/invite/E3FM8YF7, which is down currently. If you take a look at threat intel for just the blockchain job hunt, or jobhub.com, it's tagged as Lazarus, March 7th. We plop it into the full URL into VirusTotal. 16 out of 97 engines detect malware, phishing, and it's tagged Lazarus APT38 crypto phishing. If we dump it into, and just the domain, into Talos Intelligence, we see that it is on the block list, classification malicious, effectively, and it's active. If I did this much longer, waited much longer, this would have come off the block list. We dump it into OTX just to double check. It comes back as malicious. Beavertail, Kraken, phishing, social engineering, APT, Lazarus. It confirms that it is currently not resolving. We can confirm the 152.89.61.96. It looks like this also would be a 108. So I'm going to grab the IP addresses that we observed from those particular information sources. And if we go through and in URL scan.io and check just for blockchain job hub, we can find one 3 months ago, so March 22nd, the full pull through, and we can actually see what the page would have looked like. Sadly, it doesn't really give us much else past that point. Looks like it probably would have sit there and did a Cloudflare turnstile after. We can bring up the DCOM for that particular search. I guess we can sit there and try to look for some other domain possibly, but yeah, so it's pulling from cdnjs.cloudflare.com. Well, I guess we can just take a look at the endpoint. So it should be Ellen. 172.16.17.214. Actually, we'll go in log management. If we put in the 152.89.61.96 that we see, it looks like it's basically the communication to the Exchange server. We get the same details that we observed before. Well, let's take the other one that we got from OTX, the 108, 167, 141, 20. Did anybody reach out to that? No. Okay. So let's take a look. I guess first things first. Take the email. We actually download a copy of it. Not going to connect. Well, I don't really need to keep a copy of it. We've got the URL, and we got the fact that it's Gmail. So that goes away. Let's go back to email security. We'll go back to endpoint here. What are we looking for? Looking for browser history. They clicked it. Oh no. Terminal history. Anything here that is looking weird? Yeah, for some reason we have nvidiaupdate.zip downloaded. This looks like at 2541. When did the email show up? $7:15 on the 6th. When did they click the... March 7th at 21:35? Or 21, so 12:21 in the morning. Then we start seeing the activity in the terminal. Yeah, this does not bode well. This does not bode well at all. I have to sit there and take all those. Hooray. $7.25, Google. So we get Chrome. So if we go over to 7, what do we get? Chrome. Services. Most notifications. Google Updater. 27 after. Here we go, 25. Oh, so I'm looking at this in reverse. 19. They open up Outlook. Something kicks off, so we have the curling to pull down from https API drivercams.cloud/nvidia-al.update. Curl doing its thing. Chrome. It unpacks. And more of the curl. Curl. So it's okay again, nvidiaupdate.zip, dumping in C users, let's defend NVIDIA. It's expanding once it comes down. Sentinel agent. This box is like, yeah, Sentinel-1. All right, let's connect to the host and take a look. $19.19. Here's where basically all that stuff starts going. So we are looking for expand archive. Well, how did you actually get it on there? Because realistically, this should at some point reach out. Expand it again. Really all that, but yet we don't get the actual curls. While we're waiting on that stuff. Okay, so there we go. That's what she's pulling down. The NVIDIA update from here. So that's our second stage that we need to find. Where is... And we're not going to get the IP address for that, are we? No. Okay, 2340. Somehow we missed that. All right, so let's do this. We're going to duplicate the tab, and we're going to take the URL, and we're going to pop that in there. What do you know about it? What can you tell us? While you're doing that, we're going to bring back another Talos. We're going to open up another one, and we're going to get Alien Vault. And we're just going to... Just interested in the domain at these points. Malicious site on the block list. It's currently active. VT's got it marked 16/97. OTX has got it in 6 pulses. North Korea, Golingos, cryptocurrency, Frosty Ferret. And we get a 199, 188, 200, 200. It is roughly the closest thing that we've got. So the other aspect is we'll go back to log management. We now have another IP address. And I don't see anything there coming back. I guess we'll find out once we go into the endpoint. Open in a new tab if you would. I would appreciate it. All right, so first things first. And that should be downloads. Was it not downloads? Did I? Nope, inside the user directory. So C users, let's defend. We have NVIDIA Update and we have NVIDIA Drive. Okay, nvidiaupdate.zip. Let me get the hash for that. And if we go to NVIDIA Drive, go batch. All right, let's do this. Take this and let's try to bring up Powershell. Oh, we're already in there, so then we can just go to NVIDIA Drive. We can do git dash file hash asterisk, and that will give us our full list, which will give us what we can actually pull out from here into our clipboard. So we got a batch file, we got a VBS, we got a cat, INF, and we have a sys. Don't worry about scanning those in a second. We're seeing if the hashes are there. So if we just open this and open this in Notepad++, what do these look like? Let's get that out of the way. Do you want to install your drivers? We get curl, base URL. Where is base URL denoted? Oh, there it is. Interesting. Base URL just goes to example.com/path/2/drivers, so that's not going to work. It basically just run this crap to confuse you, updating NVIDIA, but yet Interesting. I'm assuming this is all just self-contained inside that zip. Yep. What was touched? Icon cache? Packages? I suppose the agent's actually running on this. No, it doesn't look like that it is. Alright, I would like to connect via remote desktop, please. Because I want to grab. Alright, so that's going to knock that one out. So we're going to grab the NVIDIA update. I'm going to go to my Let's Defend folder. That is knocked out. Samples. This is what? SOC337. Oops. That did not go all the way through. So I should be able to copy. I realize you can't see what I'm doing. So let's quickly bring up the remote desktop connection. Oh, maybe not that one. Wow, how did that get so big? Transition that over. So right click, copy, and then on the local file system, right click, paste, and that extracts that over. Question. Does this have syslin? Ooh. Okay then. So we have that bad data. Was there anything else here that looks like it might have been touched? Not really. Alright, so let's do this. Oh, where is why am I blanking on where the event logs are? No, I don't want the registry. Oh my God, I am entirely blanking on. Why am I blanking? I don't. Well, I suppose I could just bring up the event viewer and then just save the stuff off. Accessories, administrative tools, event viewer. System 32 went, that's why. Just had to go a little bit further. Just go ahead and add to logs. We'll do ultra and run. Aww. Okay, brought up the Windows Event Viewer. Just had to copy the EVTX files onto logs on the desktop, but went down in with the sysmon and Event Viewer, and we are just setting everything up to just show me the events on March 7th. And everything extracted here. Let's copy that. Punch that over here if I need it for anything else. Okay. So let's just make this bigger. So let's see, 1218. Bunch of Windows Defender stuff, like doing updates. So the host must have come online. There we've got, it looks like Sentinel-1 kicking off. I think it wasn't until, oh, there's the reg query, or collection state, that we saw in endpoint security. Google Update doing its update. Sysmon will tell us the tale. Am base, am delta. Yeah, 23 I think is when we get really close to what was going on. Google Update, and there's curl. Curl.exe, ko. Yep, so it reaches out there. We get the DNS query for api.drivercams.cloud. Looks like Sentinel agents doing some talking. More Sentinel agent, Google Updater. And there's curl again reaching out. This time to files -ld.s3us, so it must be pulling down from the local, or the S3 bucket controlled by Let's Defend. then we've got the PowerShell to extract out. And now we're getting the file creation so that the batch, so the VBS and everything else. And then WScript is running update.vbs. Google Update. Again with the notifier, that must notify icon. Google Updater. The Sentinel one being uninstalled. Well, we can see WScript kicking off at update.vbs, so I would think that we would still consider this host compromised. I've got the logs extracted off, so we're just going to go ahead and close that. Disconnect that, please. And then we're just going to close, shut her down. So we're going to go ahead and contain the host. And then what we were able to find, nothing came through with that. But we have the zip SHA-256 hash. So, do you have this in your repository? You do. Trojan downloader. Oh. Click fake interview campaign by Lazarus. So this is talked about in a few other things. Click fake. So if we take a look at relations, we'll see all the various things that are in there, like the VBS and the batch file. But yet the INF, sys, and cat doesn't seem to flag anything. "5 days ago, good enough." Is there anything here we can go with in terms of like reaches out to process tree, highlighted text. Communication 173.194.195.94. Go back to log management, and that's one more we'll stick in there. Nothing? Nothing. Let's see as to whether or not if we dump the IP address in there. Nothing. No, I want to jot that down anyways. If we took it to the other one, so the batch file. Behavior, is there any communication noted there? Same exact IP for network comms. So we don't see any sort of evidence there. If we go back to endpoint, if we give a full 40, I don't suppose it would show up here. 173. Apparently not. Well, boo. Terminal history would be the first thing. So it looks like 25, 27. So there's 5 IP addresses there that we can take a look at. So let's go back to threat intel, and we'll start threading those in to see if anything comes back. Do the same thing and dump it into log management. Because if log management is working, interesting. The traffic does not appear to be picked up. So it looks like we're not actually getting traffic in the central place for that box. So actually, let's double check this. 172.16.17, 214. We dump that into, and all we get is with it talking to itself. And the process being created. And that's the only thing that we have. I mean, it's enough that you can kind of figure out something terrible's going on. Okay, well, let's just keep going down taking the IPs and dump them in. Nothing so much in the feed for any of these. So since we're not getting a whole heck of a lot there, let's dump these. Any of these set off the tinglies? That's Google. That's Amazon. Microsoft. Google. Akamai. Okay, so what if we take the IP address that the total, or the VBS and batch file were denoted as communicating with? It comes back as Google. CompuTrace, PowerShell downloader 6 months ago. Not really a smoking gun. But it looks like this is the only one. So I think we've got enough. Hopefully that'll translate through. I don't know. Let's see. No, not really. But so if we take a look at network action, We take a look at 25. So it's 2527, 2535, 2539, 2540, 41. So we get the 96, which, yeah, 96, 17, 78, 44. Of course, we get it in there. Yeah, kind of hard to tell that it did anything, but it definitely looks like it did run. So, yeah, we're just going to consider the system compromised. Okay, so we got a metric ton of crap. So we got the 152. We didn't really get anything that was worthwhile out of the rest of that. Virtual Systems LLC. Well, at least that comes back as in the doghouse, metaphorically. What if we take the other one that we got, the 108167? Unified layer, nothing. Okay, how about the weird one, the 199, 188, 200, 200? Criminal. Phishing pancake swap. 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Okay, I think we've got what we need. So take ownership, and we'll start working our way through the case creation. Parse the email. Yeah, we did that. Did it contain attachment URI? Was it malicious? Yes. Was it delivered? Yes. We did delete. We verified someone opened it. Is the email spoofed? Well, let's see. It's supposedly a Gmail address, but it was sent from the 152.89 6196, which we have there, which is definitely not a Google address. So, yes. Contain the device. Add the artifacts. Yes. Okay, so what do we have? We're going to have the IP address. We're going to have the quote-unquote sender. We're going to have the URL. So let's just work our way through this. So we have the SMTP address. Really? Yep. So I went back to my notes. I clicked out of it. Malicious. Delivered. We did quarantine the box, right? Yeah, we did quarantine it. We confirmed it was open because if it wasn't opened, how did we get the Powershell and curl to pull down the NVIDIA? I'm going to say it was spoofed. We contain it. So we have the sender IP. We have the supposed sender address. We have the URL address. That was the blockchain job hub.com/invite. We have another URL address. That was the Powershell curl download. And then we need the MD5 of all the different files. So that's going to be what we had. The zip. We have the bat, cat, inf, sys, VBS. All right. Let's see. So we're going to take the first one. It's going to be the MD5. Then we need to find it. There it is. Okay. Get the MD5 there. Being very careful. MD5, 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 MD5. And then we're just going to go down the path and drop this in. So we got gobatch.bat, minictadriver.cat, minictadriver.inf, minictadriver.sys, and update.vbs. So from here, we should be able to bring up relationships, and we can bring up INF, the sys, and the cat. And we need the cat first. Or wait, no, we need the batch file first. VBS, there's the batch. Now we need the cat. And now we need the INF. And then the sys. And then finally the VBS. And then we had the IPs that we took a look, and we're not able to find anything that really stood out from any of that. All right. So according to this, that would be a spoofed Gmail. With a link to blockchain job hub. After running a PowerShell script. So quick fix, question mark. Use curl to download nvidiaupdate.zip from API driver cams dot cloud, then extracted, and we had it was wscript update.vbs was launched. System is to be considered compromised and needs reimage. All passwords must be rotated out of an abundance of caution, and any active sessions terminated. So now the big question is going to be, how did we actually do? Close, true positive, the note, we'll dump in the same notes that we had in there. Let's see what comes out of this. I guess maybe I should have tried a little bit harder to pull down the actual email, but is there a write-up? Doesn't seem to go anywhere. Oh, interesting. Oh well. Tried. But, so there we go. Kind of a longer run through one of the practice aspects, but real nice. You can go in and kick the tires, everything else. I guess I should take a look and see as to whether or not if basically spin the VM back up and see if I can grab the email to actually do the header analysis, since I couldn't pull it down in from the link. But that could be the local AV interfering, or the network AV too. So there we go. That has been the high severity alert underneath the incident responder path for March 6th, 2025, 7:15 a.m. SOC337, Lazarus Phishing Campaign Detected, APT38, EventID 315. And with all that being said, I will see everybody in the next video.